If you love your job, you like what you're doing, you like the industry, you like your maybe your colleagues, whatever, you like the type of job that you're doing, maybe you can just move to a new role within the same company. Maybe you can just move to another company. That's it. If you are feeling a level of agony that is very high, which was my case, and you're not enjoying your work anymore, you're feeling burnt out, you hate every email that you receive, every task in your to do list is a torture, then maybe you need to consider quitting that job, that career in general, and setting up something entirely different. Now I'm a coach and a business owner, happier than ever, more fulfilled than ever. And this was the solution that worked for me. But it doesn't mean that it's the only solution. Hello, my love. Welcome to another episode of Blisstopia podcast. I'm your host, Mercedes Castellani, and today we're going to talk about life purpose and all of the different shapes that it can take. So, this is a continuation, I would say, of the podcast episode that was released last week, where we did define what life purpose is according to different perspectives: religious perspective, spiritual, scientific, philosophical perspective. So, if you didn't listen to that podcast episode, go back. I think it would be very interesting for you to first define your own life purpose. And if you do actually link your life purpose to your career, to your work, to something that you do, which is not always the case, as we have touched on last week. If you do define your purpose in relationship to what you do, to what you create, to your work, then in this podcast, we're going to define different shapes that this could take. And I will be sharing different cases of clients that are linked to these different shapes that life purpose can take. So when we do define our life purpose in relationship to something that we do, in relationship to our work, there are different stages. And I do want to say this because sometimes people think, okay, in order to be aligned with my life purpose, I need to create my own company and do my own thing. Not necessarily. Not necessarily. So I want to share different degrees of change, different shapes that life purpose can take, and different shapes that life purpose took for some of my clients. So I'm going to share 5 different shapes that this could take and different stories from my clients. When we do want to align our life with and our career with our life purpose, one easy shift that this could take is to change jobs within your current company. So you don't need to make a huge crazy shift. You just need to find a new job, a new position within the same company that is more aligned with your values, with the meaning that you have provided for your own life. So let me share 2 stories from 2 clients. One of them is working at a bank, and she's been in this bank for more than a decade. And she actually wants to get a new position within the same bank where she's been for 12 years. And she wants to go into an area that has a lot more impact. So she would be dealing with the same topics, investments, financing, but she wants to make sure that the types of projects that she's involved have a lot more impact, are more linked, for example, with development, and they are really supporting countries in their development journey. So she's staying in the same bank where she's been for over a decade, but she wants to move into a new area that will allow her to have a bigger impact. The second case is a client who's working for her family business, and she's been doing this for, again, several years since she finished her master. And she's very, lucky that her family has a business. So what she wants to do is actually move into a new role that would allow her to have a lot more freedom so she can manage her own agenda. It's not the family telling her what to do. She can manage her own agenda, and she will have a lot more innovation. She can cross-pollinize ideas. She really thrives on solving problems from very unusual, out of the box, innovative ways. So, in this new role within the same family business, she will have a lot more innovation, a lot more collaboration, a lot more freedom, and a lot more impact. So, those are two examples of people who have a career in a bank, for example, or in a family business, and they've been doing this for over a decade. So, there's a lot of stability. And now it's like, okay, how can I shift just a little bit so that my needs are met? The second stage that this could take is if your current company is not really aligned with your life purpose, you need to change the whole thing. You need to burn your whole career down. Maybe you just need to move to a different company and find a role that is more linked to your life purpose. Let me give you another story from a client. She was working in marketing in a company that she found extremely boring because it was linked to very like traditional things and very like masculine, boring. She thrives in emotion. She thrives in color. She thrives in being in contact with different people. And she was doing marketing for what she considers a very, very boring industry like commodities and electricity. So there was literally not that much creativity, not that much human contact, not that much emotion, which is what she loves. So basically, what she did is she moved to a new company, a very well known global company, and now she's organizing events within this company. So she moved from marketing, from the marketing team to events, which is actually a part of marketing. But this part of marketing in a different company is way more linked to her life purpose. And her life purpose is literally to feel and to help other people feel. And she does this through events. So she found a new job while we were working together. I supported her on that transition. All of these clients that I'm mentioning, I've supported them in their transitions. She found this new job and now she's extremely, extremely happy and it's so beautiful to watch. So, again, stage number 2, you just get a job in another company. Stage number 3 is I'm doing something that I love, that I enjoy, and I'm going to add a side hustle where I can go a little bit deeper into my life purpose. Or maybe my life purpose can have different expressions. And maybe I have my job where I fulfill a part of my life purpose, and I have a side hustle where I fulfill another part of my life purpose. So let me give you 2 cases of clients. One of these clients, she lives in Berlin. She works at a tech company. And when we met before she started her coaching process with me, she was very depressed. She was very low. She hated Berlin. She hated her life. She didn't hate her job, but she didn't feel fulfilled. She wasn't truly, truly happy. Something was missing. So the issue was not her job. Her job was fine. But the issue was that she didn't feel 100% fulfilled. So we did coaching together and we found out together after a lot of exploration that she actually wanted to be a Lagree instructor. A Lagree is kind of like Pilates. If you're not familiar with Lagree, it's similar to Pilates, not the same as Pilates, but similar. So there is a reformer machine, but it's a lot more cardio than Pilates. So she decided that she wanted to become a Lagree instructor. And basically, she still has her tech job. She's not planning to quit her tech job. And she's developing this side hustle as a Lagree instructor. And she's so happy and fulfilled. And it's so beautiful to watch her go to different conferences around the world, meet people in this world, and she's just thriving, absolutely fulfilled, absolutely happy. Her energy is back, and she didn't quit her job. She's just building a side hustle. Let me give you another example. This client, she's such a magnificent woman. She's actually a pediatric surgeon. And of course, she studied many, many, many years to become a pediatric surgeon. She is not planning to quit that job because, first of all, it is very well paid. She didn't say this, but it's very prestigious, and she's not planning to quit that job. But she wanted to develop something on the side as a way to explore her interest and her love for yoga. She's been doing yoga for decades and she loves yoga, and she really wants to expand and support other people through yoga. She also wants to make more money on the side. So she decided to create this side hustle as a yoga teacher. And she is not planning to quit her job. She built this business on the side, this side hustle as a yoga teacher. And she is absolutely happy exploring her creativity. And it's really beautiful because at some point during one of the sessions we were discussing, and she is a healer. And she's healing from different points of view. She's healing children through her surgery and her practice. And she's also healing women through her yoga teaching. So it's the same life purpose, but it's just being expressed in different ways. And she's super happy exploring this topic that she's absolutely passionate about. And she's been a healer expressing her life purpose from two very different ways, and they coexist very well. She's able to be a pediatric surgeon when she needs to be, and she's being a yoga teacher when she needs to be, and all of those two things are coexisting in balance, actually balance and harmony. Stage number 4, when you want to align with your life purpose, can be setting up your own business. So this was my case. When I started thinking, okay, what is the purpose of my life and how can I bring this to reality? I realized that I didn't want it to stay in the company where I was at because the company wasn't aligned. So finding a different role within that company wasn't really possible. Moving to another company wasn't really possible because most of the companies are not really aligned with my core values: sustainability, inclusion, but I mean in a deep, deep, deep sense, not just greenwashing or pinkwashing. I really mean this from a deep sense. And starting a side hustle wasn't enough. I wanted to do this every day of the week. I wanted to be dedicated full time to my life purpose. This was my individual case. You know my story. I used to be a marketing director in the fine wine industry, and I realized that my life purpose was to be happy and make other women happier. So within the wine industry, it wasn't necessarily, it wasn't aligned, and I didn't find a way to align these two worlds. You know, the world of wine, it's nice, prestigious, but it's not necessarily leading to happiness. Actually, alcohol is poison. It might be really fine, nice poison, it's still poison. So I didn't find a way to align what I have been doing for 12 years, a career in marketing in the wine world, and my life purpose to be happy and help other women be happier. So in my case, I went for stage 4, which is I set up my own business. It did start as a side hustle. So I was still a marketing director and I was creating my business on the sides, on the weekends and during the evenings. But then at some point, I knew that I would end up doing this full time. So I set up my business, Blisstopia, and now I'm a coach and a business owner, happier than ever, more fulfilled than ever. And this was the solution that worked for me. But it doesn't mean that it's the only solution. And that's the whole intention behind this podcast episode, is to share different options with you. Now, let me give you an example of one of my clients. And she used to work at a Louis Vuitton store. So she was literally a store manager. So in the physical stores, when you go and you buy your gorgeous Louis Vuitton. And she had her career, in luxury as a store manager. And she came to me saying, I'm not feeling well, I've had a burnout, I want something that has more impact. I love art, but I want to create art that makes sense, that has a deeper meaning. So something along the lines of luxury felt right for her, something along the lines of art felt right for her, but she needed more impact, more meaning. So what she is actually creating now is her own business, which is absolutely fantastic. And she will have her own stores that are linked to art. And every piece that will be sold in these stores will have a story behind, a deeper meaning behind. And everything in those stores is going to be artistic, luxurious, beautiful, extremely well curated. She has an exquisite taste. So everything is going to be fantastic. She will transfer all of the skills that she learned in Louis Vuitton to create her own amazing store. So this story is just gorgeous. And again, this is stage 4, which means the work that I have up until now, it's not necessarily aligned with my life purpose. So I'm going to create my own thing to make sure that it is aligned with my life purpose. That is stage number 4. And stage number 5 is actually, I have created something. That thing is no longer aligned with my life purpose because I've changed my definition of life purpose. So I want to create something else. And let me give you an example of this. A really nice story. This client, she is really heart-led. She really wants to help. She really wants to help people. So she's a lawyer. She decided to create an NGO that works with human rights because she really wanted to help. And she's helping really difficult cases, people who have experienced horrible things, war, rapes, deportations, all kinds of horrible things that go against human rights. And she's supporting these kind of people, these type of stories through the NGO that she created. Now, she created this several years ago. The NGO is up and running. Everything is going very well for the NGO, but her definition of life purpose has changed. And she created something that had a huge impact. She created something that is literally changing people's lives. And it's fighting really difficult fights, with very difficult situations in which, international law is involved, and it's a very complicated thing. So there is a huge impact. And this project, this NGO made sense for one specific definition of life purpose. Now she has evolved. Her needs have evolved. She's changed. And now she wants to do something else. She wants to help people, which is still a deep desire in her heart and need that she has. She wants to help people, but she wants to help them in different situations now. She wants to support women in her career, making different choices in her career. And she has really succeeded herself within her own career. So she wants to support women in their career choices. So now she's setting up her own business to support people in their career. So her definition of life purpose, the meaning that she was giving to her life, has changed. So she's in what I would call stage 5, which is, I want to set up a different thing. I've set up one thing. So she's already been in stage 4, and now she's on stage 5. I want to set up something else. Now, let me say something. The fact that I've named these stages, stage 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, it doesn't mean that stage 5 is more advanced or better or higher or more preferable than stage 1, 2, 3, 4. The reason why I've named them in this way, it's because there's a certain degree of change. Imagine that you're 0 right now. So if you change and you find a new job within the same company, you're moving one step. So you're in stage 1. If you are changing to a new company and finding a new job, you're moving 2 steps. But in terms of degree of change, this doesn't mean that stage 2 is better than stage 1. It just means how much change from your current situation you need. Stage 3 means I keep my job, I create a side hustle. Stage 4 means I quit my job, I set up my own business, NGO, whichever form that may take. And stage 5 is I've already been in stage 4, I created my own thing, and now I want to change that again. Again, all of these stages, they have the same value. They are all amazing. And it just depends on where you are, how you're feeling. It also depends on the level of agony that you're experiencing right now. Why am I saying this? If you love your job, you like what you're doing, you like the industry, you like maybe your colleagues, whatever, you like the type of job that you're doing, maybe you don't need to go to stage 4, change the whole thing. Maybe you can just move to a new role within the same company. Maybe you can just move to another company. That's it. But if you are feeling a level of agony that is very high, which was my case, and you're not enjoying your work anymore, you're feeling burnt out, you hate every email that you receive, every task in your to-do list is a torture, then maybe you need to consider quitting that job, that career in general, and setting up something entirely different. So again, all of these stages are equally valid. My intention behind this podcast is to bring you different options that you can choose from, different degrees of change that you can choose for yourself so that you can align your work, your career, the things that you do on a daily basis with your life purpose. And again, there's 5 stages, and I would invite you to reflect. If I'm in stage 0 right now, what's the degree of change that I need? Is it staying in the same career, in the same company, outside of the company? Stage 2. Is it keeping this job, creating a side hustle? Stage 3. Is it entirely quitting this job, this career, and setting up my own business? Or is it setting up something that is different from the thing that I've already settled, which is stage 5? So when you join Path to Purpose, which is my program, my 4-month program where you can find your purpose, we are going to dive very, very deep into this. So the way I've structured this program is following my 4D method. And basically what we do is in month 1, we dive, month 2, we dream, month 3, we design, month 4, we do. So month number 1, we're going to dive into yourself. You're going to really get to know yourself, your values, your priorities in life, your dream lifestyle. What do you actually want in life? Who are you really? On month number 2, you're going to dream. What's the big vision? What would be ideal for me? What's the end vision for all of this? It doesn't need to be realistic. You just want to dream big. We will make it realistic in month number 3, which is design. And that is when we are going to get into these different stages. Considering who you are, which is what you've learned on month number 1. Considering what you want, what you deeply want, your vision, which is what you've learned in month number 2. We are going to design in month number 3 which of these different stages is more suited for you. Considering who you are, considering how you feel right now, considering your dream, we're going to decide together which of these stages is better for you. Do you need to find a new job within your company? Do you need to find a job in another company? Do you need to create a side hustle? Do you need to set up your own business or association or whatever it might be? Or do you need to set up something new and different? And then on month number 4, considering what you have decided, you're going to make that happen. And you're going to leave those 4 months with a very clear roadmap, with extremely clear milestones on what you need to do to go from the place where you are right now to the place where you want to be in the future. So if you're like, I don't know what's my purpose in life and I don't know how much change do I need, don't worry. You don't need to do this alone. You can work with me for 4 months. We can do this together. I've done this hundreds of times with hundreds of women. I would love to help you as well. You don't need to be suffering alone in your corner. You can do this with someone. You can follow a structure, a method, and you can do this in 4 months. If you try to do it on your own, it's going to take you years if you find your purpose. If you do it with me in Path to Purpose, you can do this in 4 months. Imagine how much change you can experience in 4 months. You will be a whole new person, and only the women who have worked with me inside of a Blisstopia program, they know what I'm talking about. I am here for deep, long lasting change, the kind of change that shakes your core, your identity. You become a whole new woman. You become the woman that you want to be. So stop wasting your time. Stop waiting. The first step is here. Go into the show notes, find the link, book a discovery call. Let's have a chat, and your life is going to change in 4 months. So, you know what to do. Go for the link, book a call, let's have a chat. I will see you in the next episode. And in the meantime, in Blisstopia we trust.